And at 10, Ultimate Custom Night. Ultimate Custom Night helps provide a lot of scares for us, but also, thanks to various lines we get after we die, which happens a lot, we can learn multiple things from this game. Like how Chica still loves to bang around the kitchen, and I mean like me as a child and my grandparents using pots and pans as drums, since original Chica does this to announce her presence. It's just her gameplay mechanic. I did it because I thought it was cool. I was cool to my grandma. But we can also learn things from her death lines, like no matter how badly Scott regrets FNAF World, he will still reference it with lines like,
"You won't get tired of my voice, will you?
And you won't get tired of dying, will you?
You won't get tired of dying, will you?"
Another one being, "Where's my beak?" lodged in your forehead, of course.
Where's my beak? Lodged in your forehead, of course.
Suggesting that she is the one who caused the bite of 87, hence why the beak is removed. This also explains why Scott asked, why would Toy Chica be missing her beak during MatPat's FNAF livestream where they discussed dream theory. I feel like he added this line so that we'd be like, oh, that's why. And at 9, inspiration. The inspiration for Chica could be one of many things. One of Chucky's friends from the Chuck E. Cheese lineup called Helen Henny, which would make a lot of sense given the alliteration in Chica's name and the fact that they're chickens. Or it could have been thanks to Birdie the early bird from the original McDonald Land characters. Although if it was, her name would probably have been Chicken the Chicken, because what Birdie the early bird is such a creative name. No wonder I've never heard about McDonald Land. Chica could also have gotten her name from the character of Chica from The Chica Show, an American kids show from 2012 that starred a chicken puppet named Chica. Based on the Chuck E. Cheese theme to the entire series, give or take a few murders, I'm gonna go with the inspiration being Helen Henny, but I could be wrong on that. And at 8, internet rule. There is a whole lot of weird out there on the internet. I'm part of it, because I'm weird as hell, but I'm not even close to a good portion of it. With entire subreddits dedicated to the most famous internet rule of all, make sure you turn AirPlay off, there is bound to be some questionable fan art about your favorite FNAF characters. And while Foxy may be sticking their hook where it doesn't belong, or Ballora may be getting stuck in the washing machine, ever since the first game there has been a relentless amount of poultry-themed visual poetry every time someone tries to edit a FNAF list and look for images. Sorry about this one, editor. However, you may want to back down from the casual furry Rule 34 drawings, since thanks to Chica's yellow coloring, she is most likely a chick. And I don't mean like a chick like an old slang term for a female, I mean like a baby chicken. Yeah, a fully grown hen or chicken is usually white or brown, however, there is basically no fully grown chickens that are yellow, so yeah, there you go. I just saved your soul. And at 7, special scare. The specialty of Foxy is further enhanced by his jump scare. You know how moms sometimes have a special hug for their kids, or maybe the same thing with your partner? Well, Foxy kinda has the same thing, making him a unique animatronic even by FNAF standards. Foxy in FNAF 1, I believe, is the only animatronic in the entire series to not have a jump scare that is right in front of your face. In fact, it's at the back right of the room, or at least the right of the screen, I guess, making it a unique experience that you only get from him in that game. Every other instance of Foxy is a jump scare in your face. Grim Foxy from VR, Withered Foxy, even FNAF 1 VR Foxy jump scares you in your face. And so do all the other animatronics. There may be some slight jump scares in other games that take place around you, but even Golden Freddy, who also has a special jump scare, is right in your face. He's the most in your face, really, so it's kinda cool to think about, but still scary, cause, you know, jump scare. And at 6, Withered Glitch. Withered Chica is one of the most iconic Withered animatronics, probably because she's the most run down. Sure, Bonnie may be missing a face, but Chica has hanging wires and gashes all over. Withered Chica makes an appearance in FNAF 2 where she can enter your office and just stand there. You need to put your Freddy head on to get rid of her, like any other animatronic that enters the office, and then your game will black out and she will be gone. There is a rare glitch, however, where Withered Chica is still in the office after the blackout after putting on the Freddy Fazbear head. If the player takes the head off, Withered Chica will either disappear, remain there until the monitor or Freddy head is raised and lowered, and which will result in a jump scare, or immediately kill the night guard as soon as the head is taken off. This glitch happens regardless of if the head was put on in time or not, and that's pretty freaking brutal. Like, is there a universe where Withered Chica doesn't give any shit about what you try to pull? She'll just kill you for the hell of it. And like, it's kind of iconic.
Number 5, The Fate of Elizabeth. The fate of Elizabeth Afton was dark and inevitably revealed in the Sister Location game. Here, it was heavily implied that Elizabeth was the daughter of William Afton, who made the animatronics. Circus Baby, she says, was made just for her, and she wonders why her father won't let her play with the animatronic. When he is not looking, she manages to sneak away to do just that. Circus Baby lures Elizabeth away from the crowd of the party with ice cream and ends up scooping her or devouring her, depending on how you want to look at it, taking Elizabeth within herself and now holding on to her soul. It's implied that this action kills Elizabeth, though we still don't know how it affected William. If Elizabeth really was his daughter, this may have been something that pushed him only further into a homicidal rage, unless he intended for this to happen. The reasoning behind William's motives are just always murky at best. Why would you even make a murderous animatronic for your daughter? I don't know. But like many, I'm interested to find out Afton's motivations there.
And at 4, Survival Logbook. The Survival Logbook, if you didn't know somehow, is a FNAF book that is full of different lore clues and is basically disguised as an activity book for a security guard known as Mike, who we all guess is Michael Afton. In this book, there are a few depictions of Chica. Page 23 has her chilling with Bonnie. On page 38, she's raging at a Cherry computer, a stand-in for Apple because I guess they wouldn't pay for the placement. Page 48 has her as a drawing in the background, and page 53 has her looking kinda sus with the cupcake behind her back. Yellow looking sus to me. Page 64 is the scariest of them all, having a picture of Chica dabbing. Oh dear God, why? On page 86, she's pitted against Freddy in a who would win battle, and on page 96, she's seemingly baking another cupcake, or maybe some cookies. She's cooking something. And then on what would be page 112, the final page in the book, we see a picture of a different form of withered Chica. This is one of the biggest mysteries to me, like why is a new withered Chica on the final page of the book? I used the blacklight on every single page and there was nothing. I plan on scanning it and putting it into Photoshop to see if I can find anything, but it's so weird to me. Like, we see Chica 7 other times in this book, but she's important enough to be the last thing we see.
And 3, Soul Sucker. In the original FNAF novels, at the very least, we learned that the Funtime animatronics are actually a combination of the metals from the first 4 victims. The metal that we came to know as Remnant was melted down and turned into the endoskeletons of the Funtimes, but they weren't separated beforehand, so each Funtime animatronic has 4, if not 5 souls inside them from the original missing children. Baby has an additional one at least, thanks to, you know, scooping Elizabeth. The others have Fritz, Jeremy, Susie, Gabriel, and potentially Cassidy, although I'm not too sure on that one. Meaning that this animatronic is more conflicted than my sister. And trust me, she is very conflicted. Well, at least she was. But she definitely still is, and is probably very unstable. She can't accept the fact that One Direction broke up ages ago. It's sad, really. And yes, she's sitting on the couch looking at me angrily, and now she's making a very rude gesture with her hands. That's not nice, I'm telling Dad.
Penultimately, in at number 2, glitches. There seems to be quite a few errors with Chica over the various games. Glitches are an inevitability when it comes to games. We all know this thanks to Skyrim and Cyberpunk 2077, but some of these Chica glitches are just weird. In some area of the first game, for example, Chica can have a back bib. It will literally just end up behind her. Maybe because who needs a bib when you have pizza? And the prolonged jump scare glitch I mentioned earlier. Chica can also be seen missing an eye when she and Freddy are on the stage alone together. Oh, something's cooking. And sometimes she's missing both eyes in the cutscenes from FNAF 2. In FNAF 2's parts and service room, her endoskeleton neck is incorrectly placed, and there is a big hole inside of her body, even though you can't see it from the outside. Finally, in at number 1, first. It's like the comments section. I mentioned earlier that Chica has plenty of voice lines in FNAF Ultimate Custom Night, one of which, and probably the most important one, being I was the first. I've seen everything, coming from Withered Chica.
I was the first. I have seen everything.
Suggesting that Susie, the girl we think was stuffed into Chica, was in fact the first victim and not Charlotte like we all originally thought, although she could have just been the first of the missing children, since we see the puppet give them life in the FNAF 2 minigame. Plus, in the demo troll version of Ultimate Custom Night, there is a scene where Freddy says to Chica, "Hey Chica, you have lore significance now," which is just kinda rude, but true. This also would explain why Chica was the first, or one of the first, to get a Jacko version, since Jacko Chica says, "I am a burning reminder of your misdeeds." Since she would have been the first, it would make sense that she's the one that he would regret the most. And by that logic, I think that Bonnie might have been the second, followed by Foxy, since they're the ones who also got Jacko or Burning versions. And at 10, not a nice guy. The theory that Foxy was a good guy was really popular back in the day. Everyone thought for some reason that Foxy was actually helping you since he just came inside the door as his jump scare. However, this never really made sense to me since the game still ends and you still go to the game over screen. So I don't really understand how anyone thought this was canon, because there was a small percentage of people who genuinely thought that this was true. And there were others who thought it was possible. However, Scott proved this to be false during the April Fool's update to Ultimate Custom Night, where he supposedly added Nightmare Freddy, Phone Guy, and Foxy's mechanics that were all based on wrong theories. Nightmare Freddy's was based on Dream Theory, Phone Guy's was based on him being Purple Guy, and Foxy's was based on this theory, where he would run in and help the player by blocking one of the doors. This was changed, I believe, a day or so later, but that was still a funny way to debunk this theory, even if it was like 5 games too late. And at 9, inspiration. Foxy has seemingly multiple inspirations, including Rolf the Wolf from the Rock of Fire Explosion Showbiz Pizza Place's animatronic band, which I didn't know existed until this list. This is much more of a popular thing than I thought it was going to be, since Rolf has their own stage away from the rest of the band, like Foxy and Pirate's Cove, as well as both animals being based on animals from the canine family. Foxy could have also drawn inspiration from Foxy Colleen, a Chuck E. Cheese retired animatronic, since they're both retired and share literally the same first name. Foxy also looks similar to Foxy Loxy from the original 1943 Chicken Little Disney animated short, who had a gold tooth similar to how the first few frames of Foxy's jump scare have gold teeth, and then when he opens his mouth they change to white. However, the biggest inspiration would probably be Scott's son, who had the idea for the Foxy animatronic, which Scott designed while on his way to visit his in-laws, which if you weren't sure, is terrifying. And at 8, backtrack. The safe thing about Foxy is his predictability. The ability to know that he will reset after closing your door makes me sleep soundly at night. But in the original mobile release of the first FNAF game, Foxy wouldn't reset to 1 like every good stage performer should after a mistake during rehearsal. No, he could at times just go back to phase 3, which I'm pretty sure is the one just before he runs off camera, where he looks like he's breaking his back. This one. Which means that he could in essence come after you again right away, and you'd be screwed because you wouldn't expect it. He also used to leave as soon as he reached the door in the first game. Even though his jump scare sound plays where he's clawing at the door, you could still open the door and you wouldn't get scared because he would be back at Pirate's Cove. At least on PC that's the case. But yeah, he will sometimes in the mobile version just reset to phase 3 and come at you again. So play the PC version, or the Help Wanted version, because that is rude as hell. And it's 7, Curse of Dreadbear. The Curse of Dreadbear loading screen is pretty sick. You're standing at this giant projector screen like a drive-in theater, then all of a sudden a bolt of lightning flashes behind it, revealing a giant Dreadbear standing over you. It's terrifying the first time you see it, and then there are other little Easter eggs hidden around you, like Withered Bonnie and Withered Chica. But it's not really Withered Chica, it's actually the normal Chica model with the Withered Chica pose, making things look hella weird in this picture. The eyes are poking out the bottom of the mouth, and the arms are bent backwards. I don't know why, but I'm getting like a real Valley Girl vibe from this pose. Like I saw this on Instagram way too much in high school kind of thing. Does anyone else see that, or is it just me? And at 6, special song. In the first game's files, there is a soundbite referred to as Pirate_Song 2, which when viewed is actually Foxy's song. You know, the dum dum diddy dum dum. You know that one? Yeah, it's that song. You hear it multiple times, and he even sings it in the Corn Maze minigame from the Curse of Dreadbear DLC in Help Wanted. However, even though this is sung by Foxy, there is no official voice actor, because this is a stock sound. There's no author, so yeah. The most iconic Foxy sound is a stock sound that Scott just bought for the game. This also made Foxy the first animatronic to sing in the games, and the first to have any voice acting, even if the voice actor isn't listed. And I mean the first animatronic to have voice acting, not character, since Phone Guy is voiced by Scott and speaks on the first night. This also isn't including the groans from Bonnie and Chica, because they're groans and this is actual words, even if they're not real words, you know?
Halfway through it at number 5, Mangled. A lot of people seem to think that we have an idea that Funtime Foxy and Mangle are related. If anything, that Funtime Foxy is either a rebuilt version of Mangle, an alternate Mangle model, or that Mangle is a run-down and destroyed Funtime Foxy, since Mangle is taken apart and put back together by children on the regular. This is based on the rosy cheek design of both characters, since there isn't really much to look at other than Mangle's face. Well, in Mangle's sense. Funtime Foxy has more going on, but not Mangle. I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, like, it would make some kind of sense, but it would also still be kinda an issue, at least in a timeline sense, at least based on how we currently understand the timeline. But what do you think about this? Do you think that Mangle is just a torn up Funtime Foxy, or do you think that Funtime Foxy is a rebuilt version of Mangle? I mean, maybe it would make sense in a timeline sense. I don't know anymore. I'm confused. I've said sense too much. FNAF has broken my brain. Let's just move on.
And at 4, Ender Foxy. The community used to think for some reason that the more you watch Foxy, the scarier he would get, the more aggressive he would get, like a Minecraft Enderman. However, this was proven to not be the case, since his mechanics work like every around 5 seconds, known as every 501 in-game ticks, a random number will be generated between 1 and 20. If that number is less than or equal to Foxy's level, he will move, meaning that if he's level 1, he will move not even 1% of the time, like in Night 1. But if he's level 20, he will move every time. There is also a timer that prevents him from moving, however, when the monitor gets lowered. A random number between 50 and 1050 ticks is created. This also means that Foxy can't move while the monitor is up, making it possible to, in essence, keep him immobilized if you check it every half a second consistently, since that would be 50 ticks. If he's in the hall when you bring the monitor up, however, this doesn't apply. He will still move. Foxy's AI levels for the nights go 0 for Night 1, 1 for Night 2, 2 for Night 3, 6 for Night 4, 5 for Night 5, and 6 for Night 6. And this level goes up by 1 at 3 and 4 AM respectively, meaning that when he starts at level 6, he will be level 8 at 4 AM, which is probably why people thought that he would get more aggressive, since at that point you've probably checked him a lot. Obviously I didn't list it for Night 7, because you get to pick what happens Night 7. It's the custom night.
Number 3, killer animatronics. I mean, it's no wonder the animatronics that we meet in Sister Location were locked away in what feels like a prison. They appear to be killer robots. In fact, although this is more theory than fact, it appears that they were designed purely for the purpose of kidnapping and killing. Circus Baby herself admits to having blood on her hands and shares with us how her programming seemed to make her very interested in monitoring the number of children in the surrounding area. It was only when children were alone and vulnerable that she seemed to feel the urge to potentially hurt them. Other than that, she was more than happy to enjoy the party and enjoy performing. This implies a sinister sub-program perhaps that could have resided within her and within all of the Funtime and other animatronics within Circus Baby's entertainment and rental.
In it too, special screen. The creepy Bonnie crash is something that always interested me. I don't know why it was a thing. Maybe it's what Scott saw in his nightmares that he had because of Bonnie, or maybe it was just something that he threw in there just because. However, I was unaware that Withered Foxy had a similar screen in FNAF 2. This can occur whenever you boot the game or get jump scared by an animatronic. It can also be seen during the custom Night 7 screen where you're picking the animatronic levels, if the memory of the wiki I read right before lunch serves me right. I had it open next to me while I was writing this, but I needed to film this in like 15 minutes, so I didn't really have time to scroll through the goddamn trivia on this page. Jesus Christ, there was so much. Okay, never mind, I scrolled through and it can actually be seen on occasion when starting any other night, it being recorded mostly on nights 1, 3, and 7, but it can also happen the other times I said. Finally, in at number 1, Power Up. While Foxy from the first game may have had some weird mechanics, like the bug of being gone even while the door scratch sound is playing, he gets powered the hell up in FNAF VR. The aforementioned bug of Foxy leaving upon arriving at a closed door is fixed in the FNAF 1 mode, so if the player opens the door while the sound of Foxy knock is still playing, he will enter the office and jump scare them, even though Pirate's Cove still reverts to its first phase, which I don't understand. Like, how are you two players? How did you go close the curtains but are still here in order to scare the living Jesus out of me? Foxy is also given a much more powerful sound for his knocking, making it longer so the jump scare mentioned could happen. Oh, and in that mode, Foxy is more likely to be able to knock out the remaining power than he was in the original game, as the power drains slightly faster to balance out the monitor not draining any power, because you can just keep the cameras on because you can't really turn them off. So yeah, he just gets beefed the hell up, making him one of the deadliest animatronics in the game. Sure, you can block the others with doors, but try that with Foxy and he may just kill the power faster than me when I'm undressing. I don't know where that came from. I'm really tired.
Number 10, official game will be delayed. Some of the facts on this list will be about the game itself, whereas in others we'll actually talk about things like its release and some of the trollalols from Scott that we saw leading up to its release, like this one. Scott Cawthon at one point wrote a community post on Steam letting the fans know that the official game would be delayed due to the fact that Scott had decided that he was creating a far too dark and scary game for consumers. He said that he wanted to take into consideration the fact that so many children play and love the FNAF franchise, and so he'd be taking several more months to rework the game and make it much more family friendly and accessible for everybody, and less like dark and scary. Of course, this was one of the scariest things of all that he could have trolled us with. The idea that the franchise we love for being so terrifying and all of its jump scares would be made less so? Scott, why? Of course, this was revealed to be just another of Scott's jokes, and of course, Sister Location was released as planned on Steam, with none of the delays that were mentioned in this post. And of course, perfectly adequately terrifying in terms of its gameplay experience. Number 9, the vents. Speaking of the vents, though, this is probably one of the most terrifying aspects of the game, because with the vents in this game, you gotta crawl through them to get to other locations. And generally, there is some kind of animatronic in there waiting to jump scare you and murder you. Do you ever wonder about alternate realities in video games? The ones where your character just died? And how that creates like a split in the timeline, and somewhere else across multiple timelines there are just a million versions of your character probably laying dead, gutted, or dismembered somewhere. No? Is that just me? Obviously, I've been reading too much sci-fi and maybe watching too much Rick and Morty. The vents are a terrifying mechanic design choice and mechanic in the game that are really good at making you feel more anxious as you move towards your task or towards the exit as the night comes to an end. The vents are basically an anxiety trap laying in wait, and, well, that is a fact. And friends, if you love FNAF like we love FNAF and you want to let us know that you love FNAF, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and maybe I'll stop saying FNAF so much. FNAF. Number 8, canceled due to leaks. Before Sister Location was released, Scott Cawthon and his team were obviously trying to keep everything as secretive as possible, which makes a lot of sense, especially considering all the secrets that were revealed in this game. Sister Location is like a game built out of secrets. Secrets and crawling around in terrifyingly dark vents, but mostly secrets. Unfortunately, despite some best efforts, sound clips from the game did get leaked prior to its release, prompting Scott to release a video that claimed it would be cancelled due to leaks. Scott, of course, was just lovingly trolling all of us, and fans noticed that the words behind the big, bold, terrifyingly sad message was actually an Easter egg. The script referred to a news article found in the game that claimed Circus Baby's Pizza World had been closed due to gas leaks, which meant that no, the game was probably not getting cancelled. In fact, it didn't get canceled, and Scott was just trolling us and also giving us an Easter egg. But still, for a second there, I think a lot of fans were terrified of the consequences of those leaks. I like how this maybe scared people into thinking twice about leaking pre-released game content in the future, though. At least I hope it did. Yeah, I don't know. Pretty genius move there, Scott.
And its 7th appearance. Funtime Foxy's color scheme is apparently the inverse of Funtime Freddy, but in all honesty, they're just white and pink instead of white and purple. The animatronic is also 5.9 feet tall and over 200 pounds. It's honestly pretty damn terrifying and makes me shudder at the thought of a 6-foot tall animatronic opening its face and staring down at me menacingly and then eating me. Which may sound like a kink thing, but it's not. It's not, I promise. I swear, it's not a kink thing. This damn thing, while not having a very menacing exterior, is certainly going to rustle my jimmies if I ever have to stare it down in a dark alley or a dense forest after it's murdered my family.
Number 6. Things are not what they seem. One of the most frightening things about the game is how twisty the plot is. It leads you to believe that Circus Baby is your friend and the only animatronic out there looking out for your better interests, until it inevitably pulls the rug out from under you, taking away your one little piece of hope, your only safety blanket in a world of death and darkness. Circus Baby is revealed to be the main antagonist who plans on using you to escape and has attempted to do so before. This time, she and the other animatronics are making a break for it together, and they want to use your skin as a suit to sneak them out. And you are going to be forced into helping them whether or not you like it, and you probably don't. Unless, of course, you play through until the other ending where you escape. But then again, there's no real escape from Ennard, is there?
Halfway through at number 5, Long Scare. I've talked about this in the top 10 scary FNAF glitches, but Chica's FNAF 1 jump scare can actually be prolonged if you manage to flip the camera up in time before she's done screaming in your face. By doing this, the jump scare resets and actually helps you stay alive longer. Doing this enough times can actually win you the night if you keep it up longer than my grandpa can. Thanks, Grandma, didn't need to hear that one. If you repeat this over and over, time does actually pass, and as long as you don't get the dreaded static, you're still alive, which could honestly have some lore implications if we tried hard enough, but I don't think that's really what's important. The fact that Chica allows this to happen in a way just shows that she just wants to torment you, since we all know now that we play as Michael, who looks a lot like his father. So much so that even Baby, an animatronic possessed by his sister, thought that you were her dad at first, which is kinda weird. No, it's really weird.
Number 4, animatronic prison. I personally think the whole location we explore of Circus Baby's entertainment and rental in Sister Location is terrifying, and not even just for you as the player and as Eggs Benedict, aka Michael Afton. The only character it maybe isn't such a frightening place for is Hand Unit. For the animatronics though too, Sister Location is a terrifying premise. They themselves are trapped in the Circus Baby's entertainment and rental, forced to rehearse nightly and perform daily, threatened with being torn apart if they don't cooperate, and with being electrocuted if they want a night off. Circus Baby's entertainment and rental, when you think about it, is like an animatronic prison for them.
And at 3, easy access. In Ultimate Custom Night, Foxy has 4 separate entranceways that he can use, making the character extremely hard to deal with. Both doors and both vents are access points for this Foxy freak, and the same goes for Nightmare Fredbear, Nightmare, and Nightmare Yan. This makes him one of the characters with the most ways of getting to the player in the entire series, which is horrifying. Like, I get it, in Ultimate Custom Night we play as a horrific child slayer, but I didn't do anything wrong. Recently. All I did was deal with a couple of them that were running around while I was trying to film at home. That was it, that's it, it's fine, right? But honestly, Foxy gets freaking nuts over these games. Dude went from poking his head in, to jumping from the back of a hallway, to chasing you down a maze in the span of a few years. There is no chill with this man.
Number 2, William Afton exposed. I mean, this is obviously a good thing. William Afton is a bad guy, but it's more the way in which we find out about this, and it's implied that Afton even perhaps got away with these designs that brings a chill to our bones. William Afton seems to have been exposed in the intro cutscene before we get to the main menu of the game, and we hear someone interviewing him, asking him about Circus Baby's features. The voice tells us that they believe the animatronics are state-of-the-art, but that there are some design features they don't quite understand, and that they're hoping can be explained. The British voice we later learn is Mr. Afton, who we believe to obviously be William Afton, then lists off all of the impressive entertainment features that Circus Baby has. She can dance, she can sing, she's equipped with built-in helium tanks for inflating balloons right at her fingertips, she can take song requests, she can even dispense ice cream. The voice then responds, with all due respect, those aren't the design choices we were curious about, Mr. Afton. This conversation implies that at some point William Afton was likely under investigation, and that the voice we hear questioning him is probably someone from the authorities. However, we also know that Afton would go on to do more terrible things from this point on, based on our very rough and very wonky timeline. So this means while people likely had some idea of what was going on, they were for some reason unable to fully stop him. Number 1, the blueprints. I can't talk about Sister Location and not talk about these creepy blueprints, right? With the animatronic blueprints, we got a lot more information on them than we maybe needed or bargained on, but definitely enough information to incriminate William Afton, as our interviewer was likely trying to do in that intro cutscene. We found out that Funtime Foxy has the ability to mimic parents' voices, for example. Funtime Freddy, it should be noted, also comes equipped with parental tracking, and Ballora was built to distract. But what use could any of these features have? We learned the exact purpose for these elements of design when we looked at a few of the other animatronics, such as Funtime Freddy and Circus Baby, both of which seem to have a small body inside them. Funtime Freddy is actually believed to be the perfect kidnapping animatronic, as it also comes equipped with a feature referred to on its blueprint as voice mimic and luring. I think it also mentions that Freddy's like a storage. He's got a storage unit.
And it's 10, Scary Scott. We all know Scott for being scared of Bonnie after and while he was making the first game. He got jump scared during his testing and honestly ended up having nightmares. Weird. Scott will have nightmares about an animatronic bunny, and I'll have nightmares about being tortured and feel it in the morning. Anyway, after this, we didn't really think about Scott being scared by anyone else. However, as reported by Scott himself in a Steam post, during beta testing for Sister Location, he got jump scared by Funtime Foxy. And while it may not have given him nightmares, we don't really know because he didn't say, he did say that this is the scariest jump scare from any of his games, meaning that according to the creator himself, Funtime Foxy is the scariest animatronic in town, at least by jump scare standards, and that's pretty damn impressive if I do say so myself. And a 9 voice mimic. Moving along to Funtime Foxy's actual abilities, as we learned from the FNAF 6 blueprints, Funtime Foxy is able to actually record parents' voices and sync them in order to lure children to their doom. So, does anyone see the problem with this? That's terrifying. Imagine getting lost while camping or something and then Funtime Foxy mimics your parents' voice to call out to you, and then it traps you or you're dead. Or think of what it would do to your parents after it recorded their voice. They wouldn't be of use anymore, right? And if anything, they could just counter it like that classic thing of like, oh, you hear your mom call you from downstairs, but then you hear your mom call you from the other room upstairs saying that's not me. That would be the scenario if Funtime Foxy didn't kill your parents after he recorded their voices. Actually, this begs the question, are animatronics able to kill adults? And if so, have they? Because I feel like the cops would investigate the deaths of adults less than investigating the deaths of kids. Like, I feel like they would take those murders more seriously than like adult murders. But I mean, I don't know, I'm not a cop. But other than Henry, have any adults been in the series that ended up getting themselves killed by an animatronic? Probably, but how many? And an 8, Nightmare Funtime. FNAF VR is my favorite FNAF game, and one that I've played the most. However, the game is damn scary. The pure agony of having to walk through a pitch black Funtime auditorium in virtual reality is one of the worst things that man can experience, and I will forever stand by the fact that VR horror is the worst thing that mankind has created. However, what makes things worse is that for some unexplained reason, when Funtime Foxy jump scares you in their dark room in FNAF VR, they use the Nightmare animatronic jump scare sound instead of the one that they would have used in Sister Location. We don't know why, but apparently it's not an error because Scott hasn't fixed it in an update or something like that. Also, in the Blacklight hard mode version of this level, if you bump into a clone of Funtime Foxy, instead of Foxy jump scaring you, you'll end up getting jump scared by Lolbit, letting me know that Lolbit's in the game. I didn't know this, and that's pretty damn interesting nonetheless. But yeah, I don't know why he uses the Nightmare voice. Or sound, whatever.
Number 7, the 2 technicians. You know, I always talk about the scooper when I do these lists, just scooping people. Everything seems to come back to that scooping room, but this time around, I'm going to talk about something that I feel like none of us really dwell on for some reason, despite how very awful it is. It's like something we all just forget because of everything else going on in Sister Location that is so terrifying. And that is the fate of the 2 technicians. On night 5, we learned that 2 technicians who were on site are still there, even after their shifts seemingly finished. Hand Unit encourages us to just leave them alone when it comes to their work, but also if we do run into them to ask them, why they haven't left yet and encourage them to go home. Of course, we quickly learned that the technicians can't go home. They can never go home, in fact, because they were murdered. And we find them strung up on the animatronics stages.
And it's 6 blueprints. The blueprints we get for Funtime Foxy differs from the others, and the others something or someone is being contained, like with Funtime Freddy or Baby. However, Funtime Foxy doesn't seem to have any child stuck inside. Instead, I'm here to talk about the list of special features shown in the bottom right corner. The light activation sensor, which lets Funtime Foxy spot victims in dark areas, perfect for hunting at night. A parental voice sync and replay, allowing for Funtime Foxy to record, synchronize and replay your parent's voice, or the voice of others to lure a victim away from a crowd. A variable scent release like the love potion from Harry Potter, letting the animatronic lure kids away with scents if they couldn't record voices, and a remote floor anchor, which lets out a radio signal for tracking purposes and to anchor victims nearby, whatever that means. And it also helps maintain balance and stability. Physical, not mental.
Halfway through number 5, priorities. The game of FNAF functions on priorities, and much like Hermione, they need to be sorted. Foxy's jump scare can actually be interrupted by many things, one of them being the power running out. If the power runs out, you're safe until Freddy's jump scare, meaning you can still survive the night. If the clock hits 6 AM while you're being jump scared by any animatronic, you're good, but Foxy can also get interrupted by another animatronic. If Freddy or Chica is next door and wants a turn, they'll jump scare you instead. Foxy is just like a last resort to the main 3. theory. Like, yeah, if we can't kill the bastard, you go for it. Like, bro, you're a fox, why are you so beta? Man the hell up. I guess that's why they added the Grim Foxy version, since he couldn't grow some balls in the first game. Obviously, I'm kidding, because he's an animatronic, but it's scary to think that you can get jump scared again while still recovering from the first one. The same thing goes for Golden Freddy. It's like he has like the last priority, I think, so if no one else can scare you, he will.
And at 4 hanging out. Was Foxy the one that hung the scientist in Sister Location? Since at the end of the game, before going to see Baby and ending up in the scooping room, you end up seeing that there are bodies of 2 researchers or scientists or whatever they are hanging from the ceiling like they were in every single thumbnail that had to do with Sister Location. But that begs the question, did the Fun Times or most of the animatronics who were associated with those sides do the hanging, or were they there the whole time? Or maybe it was Baby? Because it kind of just happened and we didn't really think about it too much because what happened after that? Like, were those guys hanging the whole time? Because I thought this place was abandoned when William was stuck between a wall and a hard place. So where were those scientists? Like, why were they there? Were they hanging there the whole time? We only see them when the light is shined on them, so Foxy could very well have hung them up ages ago. And now it's just like a rotting corpse that somehow stayed together because, you know, FNAF logic. Or the body could be fake. Too bad Foxy isn't Funtime Horsey though. At least then the dude could say he was hung by a horse.
And at 3, groaning. In FNAF 1, whenever Bonnie and Chica get close to the office, we can hear some weird sort of groaning or moaning coming from the animatronics. Some have theorized that this is just their music box malfunctioning, since we know they have one thanks to FNAF ER's parts and service minigame, and I'm sure it was mentioned beforehand. However, even damaged, I'm sure there is no way they would make such a gutturally realistic sound. This is probably caused by, you guessed it, the children stuffed inside the animatronics. Susie's groaning can be heard in the very first game. Oh. Now look, I love me a good stuffed bird for Thanksgiving dinner, but this is a little too much, alright? I'll stick with my turkey key, and you can have the chicken stuffed with literal human kid. Why do they have to groan? Come on, Scott, why'd you do this to me? Why?
And at 2, spirit to speech. Just how any Twitch streamer who enjoys a little chaos has text to speech enabled for donations over a specific amount. Afton Robotics has spirit to speech enabled for anything over 5 spirits, apparently. Since we didn't hear the original 5 animatronics talk until Ultimate Custom Night, whereas the Fun Times are talking up a storm, which doesn't really make sense to me because those speech patterns kind of seem reversed. Like, how is it that if they do have the souls of 5 different kids inside them that they're able to speak so well? Like, is one spirit dominant out of the 5? And how does Baby talk? Because she'd have 6 souls, right? And if that's the case, how is Ennard unable to talk? At least from what I remember. If Ennard was speaking, it was just Baby, or I guess Elizabeth's voice. Either way, Funtime Foxy is chatting up a storm in Ultimate Custom Night, but this more so goes for every Funtime animatronic. It's so backwards and confusing. Shouldn't they be the ones with garbled speech and groaning? I mean, like, I get it, it's for scare factor in the first game, but still, if 1 person equals 1 speech, why is it that 5 people equal 1 speech? Finally, in number 1, Showtime schedule. I don't quite understand the whole showtime mechanic from Ultimate Custom Night, however, I know that it can cause you to lose the night even if you've beaten the game. This is a rare glitch that causes the showtime schedule to run past the end of the night, so over 6 AM. If this happens, you'll end up getting jump scared at the end of the night when it hits 6 AM, which is incredibly rude because I won. I did it. I survived. And you block me? Frickin' rooster blocking piece of crap. Imagine this happening on 50-20 mode. Imagine winning the game on the hardest mode, but Funtime Foxy's like, no, nah man, not gonna happen. How rude do you have to be? And you people thought Foxy was a good guy. Guess again. Especially when you figure out that it's like 5 souls combined into 1. It's messed up, okay? I'm offended.